And that's right, everybody. Welcome back once again to another edition of the Best Seat in the House podcast. As always, I'm your host, Rob Kramer, joined by my co-host, the great Daniel Bobo Curlin. And Dan, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, bro. You know who else was frustrated with the way the Rangers played the other day? My mom.
You know who I feel sorry for? My mom! Oh!
And I also feel sorry for all the people at the Garden that had to pay to watch that crap.
Yeah, that was just some of the worst things that anyone could have ever seen. Like, what the heck is going on? Do I need to perform an exorcism on Madison Square Garden? Is that what I need to do? Perform an exorcism on Madison Square Garden? Because if that's what I got to do, then I'm gonna have to do that. The power of Rod Gilbert compels you. The power of Rod Gilbert compels you.
That's right. We're going to need Mr. Ranger out there to get things back on track right now as the Rangers fell 3-0 to Carolina the other night to fall to 0-5-1 on home ice, one of the worst home starts in franchise history for the Rangers. And we got plenty to get to on the Rangers. We'll get into a little bit more of that in a little bit, Dan. But we do have plenty to get into today as actually just a little over 2 hours ago, free agency in Major League Baseball just started. So we got that to get into. Obviously, this isn't the NBA or the NFL or NHL where, as soon as the free agency bell tolls, there's fireworks going off. Baseball, it's a little bit more of a waiting game, so nothing really has happened yet on that front. But overall though, Dan, the obviously that happened with baseball. The Dodgers won the World Series, so we'll get into that. But the big news, Dan, that we really have to get into is some of our football news. And I think a lot of people would probably expect us to start with the Jets and the big trades that they did. But we'll save that for second. I did want to get your opinion on this, though, Dan. We'll start with your New York Giants because something very, very interesting just came out this afternoon, and it was corroborated on WFAN by the afternoon drive show over there, Tiki and Evan. They've got that show on WFAN if you're in New York. I'm sure you've heard it at least once. But what happened is that they've got a guy on there, Sean Morash, who is he's good on there. He does a good job. He's a producer on the show, but he's a big time New York Giants fan, Dan, and he's got some ins in the organization. He talks to some people that really know what's going on with the New York Giants. So, we just found, the Giants had a rough game on Sunday. They ended up losing the game 34-24 to the 49ers at MetLife, dropped to 2-6 on the season. Really hurt their playoff chances because if they were 3-5, you could really envision the Giants potentially going on some kind of run to try to get that last playoff spot or something like that. At 2-6, you're not feeling as good about it. But the thing I wanted to pick your brain about, Dan, is that we all talked about the awful loss the Giants had in Denver 2 weeks ago. The Giants allowed 33 points in the fourth quarter to lose a game that they should have never been in position to lose. The report coming out of that game now, Dan, is that Giants ownership had decided to fire head coach Brian Daboll on the flight home. Apparently before they even got on the plane, Giants ownership, meaning John Mara and whoever else is involved in that contingency, had decided that they were going to fire Brian Daboll. And whatever happened, I don't know if maybe Joe Shane got in their ear, maybe, just the emotions coming off a historic loss like that kind of subsided and cooler heads prevailed. But apparently by the time they got back to New York, they were talked out of it. But how does it make you feel as a Giants fan that Giants ownership came to this conclusion after that game? Because obviously we all know that a lot of Giant fans probably would have agreed with them had they fired Daboll after that game. What do you think, Dan? Do you agree with the initial feelings of firing him? And do you agree with them deciding to change their mind and keep him for at least the rest of the season?
I think this one may have been more of an impulse kind of thing. I feel like because I mean, let's face it, that was such a disgusting loss. I mean, I'm still shocked after that game that I'm still using the same TV I started the season on. Actually, the TV that's been around for I mean a good while. It's still intact, like nothing happened. I mean,
Yeah.
still everything working fine, nothing broken or anything. It's working, and I'm watching. That I'm still using it, even I have yet so many, and it plus. I'm just surprised. So many years there's worth of stuff that I'm surprised I haven't once had to go into Best Buy to get a new TV because of something that happened. Because I mean, I could go because the list goes on and stuff you could imagine. Probably would make me want to nearly destroy my TV. I'm still surprised at that, but somehow they've avoided something on just a impulse thing. But I don't know how much of a difference that made because it still looks like a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with you on that. It definitely it doesn't look too good right now. It doesn't look too good. If it was you though, and you were in the position of the owner, you were Daniel Curlin, New York Giants owner. Does Brian Daboll get back on that flight to Denver, or are you firing him right there?
I might have fired him right there because just seeing the way they managed those last couple of minutes of that game just really just disgusted me. What I saw,
especially that pass on 3rd and 5 that Jackson Dart was intercepted on. How in the world are you having your quarterback throw there? I blame the play call way more than I blame Jackson Dart for that one.
Yeah, exactly. I just blame that play call. That they should have just done a run play that during that moment. Tried to keep the ball as much as possible during that minute, run a clock, and they just screwed up big time that game. Like I just still that game still shocks me the way that ended, and it's just looking even worse.
Yeah, it's true, man. It's absolutely crazy when you think about it. It's crazy that it's crazy the Giants are in this situation right now because this is a team that had so much momentum just a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about the giant win that they had over the Eagles, the 34-17 victory at MetLife. And then obviously everything leading up to the fourth quarter in that Denver game. Giants were up 26-8. It was, the Denver Broncos were way back in the Giants' rearview mirror, and there was no coming back. And then, boom, out of nowhere, they're right back in this thing. So, yeah, man, I mean, just absolutely terrible. But the thing is, to me, what this reports really indicates is that at least Brian Daboll is a dead man walking. Brian Daboll is gone at the end of this year, which, by the way, also just goes to show what a terrible move it was by Giants ownership to go out and give these guys extensions last year. Anybody with a brain said, look, you've got to cut bait and get rid of Daboll, and you got to get rid of Joe Shane, the GM. Both those guys have to go. It's a package deal. And instead, the Giants opted to give these guys extensions now, less than a year later. So you got to think about, too, this is 2 games ago. So at that point, when the Giants lost that game, they were 2-4. So you're telling me 6 games into this season, not even the halfway point, the Giants had already basically walked back, giving this guy an extension. It is really, really just bad management of your franchise. Oh, hold on, Dan. Sorry, you cut out there. What were you saying?
Just bad management, and I just wonder if there's going to ever be an end in sight. And then it's just add salt to the wounds when you're seeing Malik Neighbors injured and then Scadaboo injured. It's just now you kind of wonder what we're going to see, and you wonder is even Scadaboo going to be able to come back to the level he was when you saw how much bad that injury was. So that's going to be a lot of question marks going into next year. Then the other question is, how do you what do you do going into this draft, depending where the Giants fare out in this draft, especially if they end up in a top 5? Do you go maybe not take a chance of that, maybe draft another running back, that kind of thing? Because there's going to be a lot of questions to ask. It's getting the worse the season goes, the more you're just looking at, the more the attention starts to look at where the Giants are going to land in a tankathon.
That's right. Unfortunately, that's where we are right now in the state of New York football. So the Giants had that interesting news come out. The defense had another bad day in their tough 34-24 loss to the 49ers over the weekend, where the defense is something that we had really praised at times this year. And it almost looks like the defense just cashed in their chips, and they really just let Mac Jones, rip them apart in that last game, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel disgusted at the fact that it's getting close to Thanksgiving, and we're already throwing in a towel to see. Both of us are throwing in a towel of our seasons. This is not what I wanted. I wanted to see my Giants still be relevant around Thanksgiving, and now it's just how long till this dumpster fire ends, and counting the days till I believe it's March 26th this year. MLB opening day. Not what I wanted to be in a situation that I'm counting the days till March 26th.
That's true, especially for our football outlook. At least that'll take us closer to the draft, because that's exactly where both of our teams are going. So the Giants defense has a bad day. Giants overall have a bad day. The game wasn't even as close as it was on paper. The Giants ended up losing the game by 10, but a lot of those points were scored in garbage time. So the Giants are going to be really looking to take another step forward next week now, but it's going to be tough, man, because now the Giants' Week 10 opponent is the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears are coming off an all-time crazy victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati. And man, if you thought that crazy win the Jets pulled off 2 weeks ago against the Bengals was crazy, the Bears game was even more insane than that. The Bears had a 41-27 lead with 2.5 minutes left. Then, with about under a minute left in the game, the Bears are suddenly down 42-41 when they actually would connect for a long touchdown pass. The tight end catches it, goes off 3 blockers, and takes it to the house. 47-42 victory. So the Bears defense might not be great. Maybe Jackson Dart can put up some points in that Bears defense, man. But right now, the way that that Bears team is cooking right now, Dan, that's an offense. Look, this is something you have to remember. This is the first season of their new head coach, Ben Johnson. He's the offensive genius, if you want to call him that came over from the Detroit Lions. And boy, every button he's pushed on this Chicago Bears team this year so far has been the right one.
Yeah, that's a team that looks like they're on the rise, and they kind of started laying the groundwork last year with the high draft pick, and they're just they're building the progress. What I'm hoping the Giants do eventually, start making that progress slowly but surely each year. The thing that's I feel has built championship teams for the Giants is when they've just seen to have a knack for, during those times they've won championships, slowly building toward that. So look at back in the day when they built toward the Parcells dynasty. They slowed. I mean, when they had those 2 championships under Parcells, they slowly built toward that championship in 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 '86 when they won Super Bowl 21. They kind of slowly built. They a couple of years later they built toward themselves up toward that championship in 1990, and then 2007 the same thing, and then 2011 another one. They built themselves up toward that championship. They just knew how to progress toward that, and the Giants need to get back to that.
That's true. It's all about laying that groundwork, and the Giants have a lot of groundwork to do right now, as the Giants are taking on the Bears at Soldier Field, classic NFL matchup, Giants and Bears. So we'll be keeping our eye on that one, obviously. And Dan, so that's going to do it for our Giants talk. But now let's get into the New York Jets, who made headlines this week. And typically it's not because they had a big win or anything like that. As a matter of fact, the Jets didn't even play a game this week. They're on their bye week, and boy, Dan, there was some NFL trade deadline madness. The New York Giants did not make a trade. The New York Jets made a couple of them. And we knew last week the Jets had traded their slot corner, Michael Carter III, which made sense. He's a guy that had kind of declined in his play a little bit over the last couple of years. His salary was a little bit bloated, so there was a good chance that in March he'd be a cap penalty or a cap casualty either way, meaning that he would have been released most likely in March anyway. So the Jets traded him. Makes sense to the Philadelphia Eagles. So I have no issue with that. However, the two deals I'm going to get into right now, I do have a little bit of an issue with. First off, let's get to the lesser of the two deals, and that's the Quinnen Williams trade. That's right. The Jets traded one of their franchise cornerstones, Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle who they drafted third overall out of Alabama back in 2019, to the Dallas Cowboys for a 2026 second-round pick, a 2027 first-round pick, and DL Maisie Williams, who is basically just a throw-in. I don't even know. When I heard this trade, obviously this was the second of the two blows. We'll get into the first blow in a couple of minutes, but this hurt, man. This really, really hurt. The Jets had, we're talking about laying that groundwork, right? When the New York Giants were laying their groundwork on there, they had pieces. It didn't all come together at once. Obviously, the New York Jets have had these pieces for a couple of years now. The difference is that the New York Giants had good coaching to help them win 2 Super Bowls. Bill Parcells took those pieces and built a championship team. Tom Coughlin took those pieces and built a championship team. The guys the Jets have employed over the last couple of years, Adam Gase, Robert Saleh, Ulbrich last year, and now, who was the interim head coach at the end of the last year after Saleh got fired, and now Aaron Glenn. All of those guys I just named are incapable of building a championship team. They are terrible head coaches. They could coach the 2007 New England Patriots to a 6-10 record. That's how bad this coaching is. And the New York Jets I just don't understand. Now they're tearing down this team, which, let's not forget, Dan, Aaron Rodgers was on this team last year. How many people, including both of us, including most of these NFL genius pundits, picked the Jets to be a playoff team with Aaron Rodgers just last year? How many of these same people told us, the Jets have a pretty decent roster. Once Aaron Glenn gets a hand of it and the Jets actually get coached right for once, maybe they'll make up the playoffs too. There were a lot of people that picked the Jets to make the playoffs this year. So what is it? Is it the player? Is it Quinnen Williams' fault? No, it's not Quinnen Williams' fault. It's the Jets' fault. It's Aaron Glenn's fault. It's Darren Muji's fault. It's more than anybody, Woody Johnson's fault that the Jets are in this scenario right now. Now, we'll get into the Sauce trade in a second, but Dan, when you heard about this Quinnen Williams deal going down, what did you think about this trade and how it actually impacts the Giants? Because now he's going to Dallas Cowboys.
Well, now it's like you just gave something to the idiot Cowboys that I can't stand. And then the other thing, the Jets have pretty much set themselves back for quite a number of years.
Well, that's the thing too.
This team
yeah,
does,
sorry.
they just are just so mismanaged. They brought in the wrong coach for this team. They needed that guy with veteran experience. They didn't need to do another one of these rookie experiences. And the way they managed, there was still enough left in the tank with Aaron Rodgers. They screwed that up. Boy, did they really screw up big time. And there is just a really deep hole there. You might be seeing years of the Jets being on tankathon at this rate.
I might be seeing that. I've seen 15 years of that already. That's what drives me nuts right now too, because you're right. It's absolutely ridiculous and complete malpractice, mismanagement that the Jets are in this situation again. How much in the offseason did I scream for what you just said? The Jets need a veteran head coach who knows how to run a team, who knows how to install a program and it be successful. The Jets once again hired a first-time head coach. Think about this, Dan, right? Think about all the head coaches. This is how bad of a owner Woody Johnson is, because he actually thinks he's smart. He thinks he's on the cutting edge of this. Listen to this. These are the last head coaches the Jets have hired. Aaron Glenn, Robert Saleh, Adam Gase, Todd Bowles, Rex Ryan, Eric Mangini, Herm Edwards, and Bill Parcells. Bill Parcells. Those are the most recent head coaches dating all the way back to 1997. That's every coach Woody Johnson has ever had, with the exception of Parcells, because Parcells was hired by Leon Hess. So what is, aside from Parcells, every single person that Woody Johnson has hired as head coach of the Jets is a first-time head coach. Literally every one of them. Every single one. Except for Adam Gase, who is possibly the worst out of all those head coaches. Now, some of these head coaches worked out. I was a big fan of Herm. I liked Eric Mangini in the time. Obviously, everybody loves Rex. But every head coach they've hired since Rex has been a disaster. It's an unmitigated disaster. So this falls squarely on the head of the Jets' incompetent owner, who, Woody, for the love of God, sell the team. You are a worse owner than Leon Hess ever could have dreamed to be. And I remember growing up as a Jets fan when basically saying Leon Hess's name was like a curse word. Everybody, Leon Hess is that mother effer. Everybody who was a Jets fan when I was a kid in the 90s was sick of Leon's Hess, of his act, until he finally admitted he didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and he hired Bill Parcells. That's what Woody Johnson needs to do. And so it starts from the top and it goes all the way down, Dan. Now let's get into the trade that really hurt me, because look, as much as I was annoyed at the Quinnen trade, I kind of understood it in a way where Quinnen Williams, as good as he's been for the Jets, has not been that dynamic pass rusher that the Jets needed him to be for the last couple of years. Now, part of that, I think, is because I don't think he's motivated. He's making almost $30 million a year, so you think that would motivate him enough. But he's been to the Jets for 7 years, and he's never had better than a 7-win season. That'll take its toll on you. So I understand the Jets saying, you know what, we're going to cash in on Quinnen Williams. He's 28 years old. I think maybe we've seen the best of him. We'll cash in. As much as I don't like that, okay, you can sell me that and I'll understand it. What I don't get is trading Sauce Gardner, who I understand. There are going to be plenty of Jet fans and plenty of other fans out there saying, but Sauce Gardner never gets an interception. Sauce Gardner doesn't do this. Sauce Gardner doesn't do that. Sauce Gardner, whether you like him or not, is one of the best cover corners in the league. There's a reason why, with only a couple of career interceptions, Sauce Gardner, with 4 years in the league, is a 2-time All-Pro. That's how good Sauce Gardner is. You can sit here and diminish everything he's done over the last couple of years. You can pick it apart. Oh, he doesn't have interceptions. He doesn't have this. He doesn't have that. He's still a great corner. There's a reason why when he's on the field, they don't throw his way. So, it's ridiculous to me that the Jets traded a 25-year-old 2-time All-Pro. Now, okay, the Jets ended up getting back a decent haul for it. They got back a first-round pick this year. They got back a first-round pick next year, which now means that the Jets have 2 first-round picks in 2026 and 3 first-round picks in 2027. They're loaded pick-wise. They got back A.D. Mitchell. Guy's a really good wide receiver. No doubt about it. Another good piece. This is my concern. Okay, we have all these draft picks, a.k.a. lottery tickets. Now, how do we turn them into players? How do we turn these guys who, by the way, Quinnen Williams, really good player, was once a lottery ticket? You actually got that one right. Sauce Gardner, really good player, lottery ticket? You actually got that one right. And then you traded both of them. Now you got to sit here and hope that you draft 2 of the same guys. That's what drives me crazy. And on top of that, Dan, how am I supposed to sit here and trust these guys running the show right now to pick the right guys? And even if they do pick the right guys, like the Jets did with Sam Darnold back in 2018, how do we know that we have the right people here to bring out the best in these players, which the Jets didn't have for Darnold, as he went out there and had a perfect quarterback rating this past weekend, and is still playing at a very high level. So, Dan, I this trade really annoys me for a lot of reasons, and the most being is I don't trust the coach and I don't trust the GM to A, get the picks right, and B, put whoever they do pick in a position to succeed after that. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. Plus the fact you traded a guy that was probably could have been a major building block toward next year and beyond, and you probably cost yourself big time moving forward with that trade.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, Dan. You figure with one of these draft picks, you're going to pick a cornerback to replace Sauce. The dream the Jets would have is that they would get another cornerback that's even close to being as good as Sauce. So, which is why you're right. You traded one of your building blocks for no reason. It's stupid. And the thing is, too, Dan, that I think a lot of people are missing this too. I think that this was once again the coward's way out for the Jets and their management, the Jets head coach specifically, because let's be honest here, Aaron Glenn is the alpha in that room. He's calling the shots. Darren Muji is a decent guy with a scouting background that's going to hang in there and help execute the plan that AG has. But Aaron Glenn is the one pulling the strings and making the decisions for the most part. So the concern that I have is that I think this is from my perspective. It was an act of cowardice to release Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Glenn first got here, and Devontae Adams to a lesser extent. But we heard it because Aaron Glenn was afraid of Aaron Rodgers undermining him in the back of the locker room, which is nonsense because there's never been any accusations of that with Aaron Rodgers at all. Aaron Glenn just made that accusation up, basically based on media reports that have never even been corroborated in any way, and his inaccurate perception of Aaron Rodgers. That cowardice had Aaron Glenn say, you know what? I want to give $30 million to Justin Fields. That worked out. The other act of cowardice by him and Darren Muji is the two of them covering their own asses, making these two trades, Dan, because this is my thought process. You trade it. Let's just say the Jets don't make these trades, right? And they go 2-15 this year. There's a good chance that with media pressure and fan pressure that Woody Johnson might have been like, you know what? I love you, Aaron Glenn, but there's too much negativity here. I think it's time to move on. We got to cut bait. What these guys did now is that by trading Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams, they have the built-in excuse. They have the built-in excuse. The Jets could go out there, lose every game for the rest of the season, go 1-16, and not even be competitive, and they've got the built-in experience. Well, we tore the team down halfway through the year. What'd you expect? You know? As you can't stop yawning, so sorry to keep boring you there.
Nah, it's okay. Just a little drowsy today.
But you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. And the thing that kills me too, Dan, is that it's a built-in excuse for next year and potentially the year after that anyway. Because, like I said, the Jets could go 1-16 this year. Those two guys aren't going anywhere. Built-in excuse. 2026, on the other hand, too. Now, let's say the Jets draft a quarterback in 2026. Well, it's his rookie year. It's growing pains. You got to give us another year. We got 3 first-round picks in 2027. 2027 is what we're shooting for the whole time. You see what I mean, Dan? So these guys have given themselves 2 extra years, most likely, to get a free run of the Jets franchise because Woody Johnson allowed them to trade 2 of their best players. That's what kills me about this.
Yeah, that is just an utter disaster. I feel like Aaron Glenn should have had a very short leash, and now they set themselves up for another disaster. Also, apologize to the yawning. Like I said, it's a little drowsy today because I had to do a lot of stuff today. But yeah, it is just utter disaster what you guys are going through. You're just. I will be shocked if you've even made it through these next 2 years, because you gotta feel really bad. There is potentially things like the potential top quarterback in the draft. Looking at the standings, looking at they're paying attention to this. I don't know if they're not really focusing on it because they're trying to focus on what they're doing, what they can't control. But somewhere to some degree, they're looking at this, being aware of what they're going to be going into and where they could potentially be ending up. And I got to look at the Jets, and it's like they're going to be put in a very bad situation.
No doubt about it, Dan. No doubt about it. And so the Jets didn't trade a couple. They didn't trade Breece Hall. They didn't trade Garrett Wilson. They didn't trade Quincy Williams, which I thought was odd too, because you traded his brother. And then Quincy Williams came out the other day and said that the Jets told him that he's been underperforming since training camp and that he's being benched. So odd decision to knock him like that and bench him and then not trade him. So interesting decision there by the Jets and their coaching staff. The Jets are coming off the bye following the big comeback win over the Bengals in Cincinnati. So they'll be fully rested, no doubt about that. And Garrett Wilson will be returning to play. So that's definitely, a step in the right direction. That's definitely what we want to see, Garrett coming back. And before we talk about the Jets and the Browns really quick and wrap up on that, Dan, I did want to give this because on top of everything that we've seen from this team, this quote blew my mind that this head coach, Aaron Glenn, is a terrible head coach. And not only for the on-field decisions he makes, the way he communicates. This guy acts like he's never spoken to the media in his life. It turns into a sparring battle every time he has to talk to them. And then get this insane quote that the head coach of the New York Jets actually said today, right? Or it might have been yesterday, right? So this quote is from right after he was hired earlier this year. He said during his press conference, "We want to be a team that New York Jets fans can be proud of," right? That makes you feel good. Oh yeah, I want to be proud of my team. Then get this. Following the franchise-altering trades of two of their top star players, this is what he actually says. "I want this to be a team that fans are proud of, but again, I never said they were going to be proud of it right now." Is this guy high? What is that? Does he think fans are stupid? Does he think that the internet doesn't exist and we can't look up what he just said 6 months ago? You said that you want this to be a team we can be proud of, but what? I guess that doesn't kick in until 2027? Are you kidding me? The fact that he said this with a straight face, he should be fired right now for that.
Yeah, he should. He really should be fired for that. I mean, how dare he? I mean, he say that. He's got to understand if he wanted to do what he said he wanted to do, it starts from the very beginning, and he's just shot himself in the foot. Aaron Glenn might be looked at years later as one of the biggest long line of disasters that your Jets have gone through.
Yeah, he's right up there with Rich Kotite. He's right up there with Adam Gase, and he's right up there with any other stiff Jet head coach you could ever think of. So definitely not a good look for head coach Aaron Glenn, and he'll have a chance to try and make Jet fans proud again, I guess, on this week's game, Week 10. The Jets are going to be taking on the Browns. Browns are coming into MetLife as the favorite, by the way, too. And the Browns are 1.5-point favorites coming into MetLife. So,
yep. And all I could say about this game is Tank Bowl 2025.
Yeah, you could say that again. That's going to be a game that after that they should just burn the film. That's all they should do.
Yeah, yep. It is a battle of teams with a long list of quarterback disasters.
Yep, no doubt about it, man. So yeah, we definitely got that as the Jets and Browns are going to be battling it out for the worst team out there. And all right, Dan, let's keep it rolling along here right now. We'll get to real quick. Let's talk about a little bit of the World Series. We'll touch on for a sec, Dan. Dodgers win Game 7 of the World Series in Toronto. It was a wild Game 7. Dodgers win their second consecutive World Series championship, and it's crazy, man. This team, it looked like for a lot of that time Toronto was going to pull it out. They're not able to do it. Dodgers get it done. Yamamoto absolutely stealing the series there for the Dodgers. In retrospect now, what'd you think of a really crazy World Series there?
That was a wild Game 7. I mean, I watched it. That was just, I can tell you, just another championship won by a team with one of the biggest fake ass fan bases there is. Because even my grandmother has said it. The Dodgers have been fake ass fan base since they've left Brooklyn. It's freaking there's just celebrities that show up at Dodger Stadium as status symbols. They're just, I don't see Dodger fans really enthusiastic. It looks more like a status symbol showing up to games there. It's
definitely a status symbol. You're right about that.
Yeah, that's all it looks like. I could tell you, and then seeing footage of that, my default channel was MLB Network, and just seeing that parade footage when I turned on the TV, saying, geez, New York, that parade would be crowded like crazy. If like a championship like the Mets win that, and I'm just thinking, man, do I really wish? Do we really wish Yamamoto chose us over where he went? Because man, yeah, nice. You won a championship with the Dodgers. You have no idea how good you could have had it if you did that with us.
Well, and that's the thing too.
Yeah,
That's why I'll knock Steve Cohen and David Stearns for that too, because me and you said at the time, if you want Yamamoto, you have to blow him away. And all the Mets did was match what the Dodgers gave him, $325 million. If let's put it this way, Dan, if all the Mets did was match what the Yankees gave to Juan Soto would be a Yankee right now. The only reason the Mets have Soto is because they went above and beyond and got him, which is exactly what the Mets should have done with Yamamoto. And hey, okay, maybe if the Dodgers decided to match that too, maybe you're screwed anyway. But if the Mets had gone out, the Dodgers offered $325. What if the Mets turned around and offered $400? Would it really be that much of a big difference? The Mets have the richest owner in sports. So that's another thing too, because we could have been sitting here this year watching Yamamoto pitch and not some of these other stiffs the Mets have run out, and then maybe the last 6 weeks of the year we wouldn't have had to depend our entire season on 3 rookies.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we talk about a whole different story of the 2025 season. Could be a different story. Maybe a different story of what I would be wearing on this very show. I just only look at that and hope this one day we could be filming an episode of Best Seat in the House podcast, and I'm wearing championship gear I freshly bought.
Yeah, man, that'd be nice. That would definitely be nice.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be very, very nice. And I could be even holding up a new copy of the New York Daily News with a championship headline that I would just have framed on my wall for so many years. And I don't know if they still do this, but just hypothetically, if they still do that, I'd be buying a Sports Illustrated subscription because of the collector's edition, the whole championship package, the whole thing that I haven't done since the New York Giants won Super Bowl 46 was the last time I did that to get that championship package. I should be doing that. Another word of advice. Sports Illustrated, don't put the Mets on the cover until after they win a World Series. Just please, I'm scared of that cover jinx. I think that cover jinx is worse than the Madden cover jinx, because I think in a way, when I look back at some of the past athletes that have been on the Madden cover, I think that jinx has kind of been broken with Madden, but it still scares me with Sports Illustrated.
I'm on the other hand, I don't care about the Sports Illustrated or Madden, to be honest. I think there's too much made about it, but it keeps happening, so I don't blame you for bringing it up. It makes sense, but yeah, I'm with you, man. Like we said earlier, free agency starts today at 5 p.m. And all I have to say to the Mets is there are 4 letters that I want you to live by in this effing offseason. What would the Dodgers do? WWDD. What would the Dodgers do? I want Steve Cohen and I want his boy toy, David Stearns. I want them to live by those letters this entire offseason. I don't want any half measures. It's not our fault that you assholes decided to give $17 million to Frankie Montas last year. So I want you to go out there and you better be bringing back Pete Alonso, who, by the way, won a Silver Slugger today in the National League. You better be bringing back Edwin Diaz. You better be bringing in 1, if not 2, top-of-the-line starting pitchers. And I'll tell you this, too. I want to see the Mets go out there, re-sign Harrison Bader. You shouldn't have let him go in the first place last year. Bring Harrison Bader back. Let's let him be the gap between whenever Carson Benj is ready to take over center field when he comes up from the minor leagues. And also too, another thing I'd like to see, I want to see the Mets bring in one of two other infielders. I want to see the Mets either go hard after Alex Bregman for third base, or I want to see the Mets go hard after Bo Bichette from the Toronto Blue Jays and either play him at third or second, whatever fits better. And you can move Beatty around. Beatty's played second. Beatty's played third. You can either play Vientos at third or DH him or trade one of those guys in a deal that makes the team better. But that's some of the ideas that I have in my head right now for the Mets offseason, Dan. And I didn't even say that they better be in the market for Tariq Skubal too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, you're seeing all the things the Mets need to do. They really need to do that, especially as Skubal. They need to go after Skubal without a doubt. They got to take advantage of this. The Mets just have trade pieces. They got things they might have a surplus on that could put themselves in the right spot. They need to go all in on this one. This is just a key thing. They need to have this. Could you imagine a rotation with Skubal complimenting like a pitcher like maybe McLean or Tong or whichever one of the two, if you didn't trade either Sprout or a Tong, you got some pitching up in the wings. Complimenting that with a star caliber pitcher like a Skubal, that's a recipe for one heck of a team, and they need to go. I feel they need to go all in on this year.
Yeah, without no doubt about
it. They need, and that's one of the key things. Actually, have real pitching. I'm sick of them signing guys that just roll the dice and they turn out to be disasters, or sign an old guy. I mean, old in baseball terms, not that old in age, but I mean in baseball terms. They need to finally go after a guy that's right there in his prime.
Absolutely, man. Totally with you.
They need to do that. They need to do everything in their power to make this team a place to be. I mean, really show some balls to these fans, make up for that disaster of an ending last year.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. I'll tell you this much too. My dream scenario is I want two pitchers this offseason. I want Tariq Skubal and I want Freddie Peralta from Milwaukee. He's going to be a free agent after the year. I heard a lot of there's a lot. It's not just me throwing a name out there. Apparently, Freddie Peralta is definitely going to be one of the guys a lot of teams are inquiring on. And because of the way that it is with him right now, apparently it's not going to take a major package to get him. Like if the Mets were going to give up anything for Freddie Peralta, from what I'm hearing, it's not going to take any of their top guys. It might take one top 10 prospect, but it's not going to be a top 5 guy like a McLean or a Sprout or a Tong. And it would be probably lower top 10 tier guy, along with maybe a Ronnie Mauricio, I heard is what it would take to get a guy like Freddie Peralta. I would do that trade in a second. And I'll tell you this much too. If I was the Mets and I was trying to be really crafty here, look, we all love Francisco Alvarez. I'm a big fan of Francisco Alvarez. I really hope that he can flourish with the Mets one day. But if I'm the GM after this season, what I would do is I would go to the Milwaukee Brewers and I'd say, okay, I really want to pull off a trade with you for Freddie Peralta. But also, I want Wilson Contreras, their catcher. He's a 27-year-old stud who's a great defensive catcher, and he's got a great bat. I would say I'm throwing in Francisco Alvarez. I'll throw in another prospect. I'll sweeten the pot, whatever it takes. I want Peralta, and I want Contreras back.
Yep, exactly. And if the Mets have two people with that song, since that guy's bad music Diaz song, just remember Diaz calls dibs on that song.
That's a good point. You're right, because Contreras does come up to Timmy Trumpet's song, and you're right about that.
So that scenario turns out Diaz calls dibs on that song.
I agree. All right, so I think that's going to do it for our little baseball talk for right now. So let's round things out here. We'll talk a little Rangers and Knicks, and then wrap the show with our weekend NFL picks. And Dan, let's get into the Rangers. Rangers lost to the Carolina Hurricanes 3-0. They fall to 0-5-1 at home, and they've been shut out in 4 of those 6 games. Now, the crazy thing about that is that, okay, you think to yourself, well, the Rangers are just having a shit season. It's one of those years. It's not going to go their way. They're 0-5-1 at home. They are 6-1-1 on the road. They're literally the best road team in hockey right now. And they're on a 3-game winning streak, too, where they're coming off their West Coast swing. They won 3 straight out there. So, Dan, what's your read on the Rangers so far right now? Because this team is like a schizophrenic right now.
I just feel like this Rangers team is just, I feel like there's pieces there, but I feel like they didn't do enough during the offseason, and they may have made some mistakes. I still feel like that trade of Chris Kreider just looms even more and more when I see how this team is done, because I feel like they just lost an edge when they traded Kreider.
You're right about that, 1,000%. And one of the things that made me laugh was after the last game, Mike Sullivan said the Rangers need more presence in front of the net. What's the first thing you think of when you think of New York Rangers having a presence in front of the net? His name is Chris Kreider, right?
Yeah, exactly. Chris Drury made a big mistake, and I can tell you, if the Rangers don't make the playoffs this year, people need to show up with pitchforks in Madison Square Garden, run him, drag him to a Greyhound out of town.
I'm with you. If the Rangers miss the playoffs this year, Drury better be out. And he has mismanaged this team completely. I agree with you. Terrible, terrible Chris Kreider trade. Not a fan of it one bit. And it also hurts the fact that the Rangers can't score. And Chris Kreider has scored 7 goals in 8 games there so far. So great job by our president and GM, Chris Drury there. And our new captain, by the way, too, JT Miller, who, look, if you're a Rangers fan, you've been one for a long time. You got to like JT Miller. We all remember him as the 19-year-old kid that came up here and scored his first career goal in a win over the New York Islanders. I'll never forget that. I remember JT Miller as the first-round pick. I always liked JT Miller, but I got to admit, this quote pissed me off when after the game the Rangers got shut out again. JT Miller, after the loss, said, "It's not cute anymore." My question to JT Miller and the New York Rangers is, at what point did getting shut out at home ever look cute to you? There's nothing cute about the way this New York Rangers home season has begun. It's an absolute disgrace, and the amount of money that these people have paid to watch this team score a grand total of 6 goals in 6 games. By the way, 5 of them came in one game against the team with the worst record in hockey, the San Jose Sharks, who, by the way, the Rangers lost to in overtime in that game and allowed 6 goals to. When was this ever cute?
It wasn't. This has been a disaster the whole year, and it's getting me nervous, and they need to do something quick. They need to do something fast, because I do not want to be sitting through a whole disaster all winter that's just going to leave me saying, is it March 26th yet? 2026 yet? I don't want to be put in that situation.
It's getting to that point, Dan, right now.
Yeah, it's all right. Winters get enough annoying, especially walking through snow and shit, hoping I don't get injured in the snow. As I've seen from Romans, I've seen it happen, and you just hope it doesn't happen to me. Give me something at least I can celebrate about during the winter. Give me something that I don't want to be wearing a tropical shirt, potentially attending the Winter Classic, talking about how disastrous this team is. Please turn this ship around and put something in a thing out there. I'm talking in quite a different tone leading up to that game than I am now. Please.
Yeah, and we just talked about too a franchise-altering trade deadline for the New York Jets, where they traded away two of their biggest stars over the last half a decade or so, and it could be that way for the New York Rangers this year too at the NHL trade deadline if they don't get their act together. And one of the guys that could be jettisoned out is Artemi Panarin, who really helped change things around for the Rangers. By the way he's playing right now, they're not going to get anything great for him back anyway. Artemi Panarin has had 6 straight games without a point right now for the Rangers. It's the longest of his career. And he has also been in contract negotiations with the New York Rangers, because let's not forget, he signed as a free agent in 2019 with the Rangers a 7-year deal with an annual cap hit of $11.6 million. So he is ready to get the contract up now. He's in the 7th and final year of his deal. So come July 1st, he'll be an unrestricted free agent unless they come to an agreement prior to that. But Artemi Panarin has told the Rangers that he will not accept a lower AAV than $11.6 million. And Dan, look, I'm a big fan of Panarin. As a matter of fact, I got his jersey on right now, number 10 right there. But I got to say, especially with the way he's starting off right now, he's 34. At the start of next season, he's going to be 35. There's no way I'm going to sign Artemi Panarin to a multi-year contract with an annual AAV of $11.6 million or higher. There's no way I'm going to do that. What do you think about that?
Right now, not looking good, and he just better turn around, because this just shocks me that he's doing this. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's distracted by this contract thing. I don't know if it's a slow start. He came into the season cold, but something needs to turn around. And I'm just hoping it turns around and it makes it a more difficult decision for the Rangers by season end.
Let's hope so, because if it's the end of January and going into February now, and me and you are still talking about how Artemi Panarin is not playing well, it's not going to matter what the heck's going on with the team. They're not going to get much for Artemi Panarin at the deadline anyway, if they do decide to trade him. So it's going to be interesting, man. So that's one thing to keep our eye on now, as the Rangers now get ready for a big game against the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow night. So we'll keep our eye on that. And also, one last thing before we do our picks, Dan, we'll talk about the Knicks real quick, as the Knicks did win their 3rd straight last night, a 137-114 blowout over the Minnesota Timberwolves at Madison Square Garden. Both Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle were in the lineup last night, the two ex-Knicks who went the other way in the Karl-Anthony Towns trade. They both had decent nights. Towns had a so-so night. He hasn't really had that great a start to the season, hasn't really gotten into his rhythm yet, but we all know how effective Towns is once he does get to that rhythm, and he's still playing effective enough right now where you figure he's going to get into that rhythm sooner rather than later. So, hey, good start for the Knicks so far this year.
Yeah, good start. I feel like they're finally starting to get into like the new coach's system, and I feel like once they've gotten that, they're just going to be a dangerous team. And I feel like they just need to do that, and they need to continue to shore up on the second half meltdowns. We'll be in good shape.
Yeah, no doubt about
it. This team, I feel like they need to go into this and seal the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel this would be a letdown. I mean, I know what's letdown getting to finals. I feel like this is a team that's got to go all in everything possible to win the whole thing.
I'm with you. I'm definitely with you on that, man. So
I just feel like this is a championship or bust Knicks team, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of feel like that, even though I do kind of feel like the Knicks are still maybe a piece or two away from really having a full championship team. But I mean, it's now or never for the Knicks. I mean, that's basically where we're at the moment.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna say?
Yeah, it's now or never. People waited too long for this. Go out there and do it. Seal the deal. Bring
Yeah.
bring bring that glorious trophy back to New York City where it belongs.
That's right. We haven't had it since 1973, so it'd be nice to get that championship trophy back here. And the Knicks did play 3 games in 4 days, actually, believe it or not. Something you very rarely see for the NBA. They had back-to-backs on on Sunday and Monday, had off on Tuesday, came back and played last night. So, it was good to see the Knicks, as tired as they must have been, still came out and dropped 137 points last night and got the win. And now they're going to have a couple of days to recover and get ready as the Brooklyn, quote-unquote, Nets come in and play the Knicks on Sunday at the Garden at 6 p.m. So hopefully it'd be nice the Knicks rest up for a couple of days and can beat the crap out of the Nets to finish off the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Just give a nice nightcap to going to be a full day of New York sports watching because they're going to have the Giants game, which I think is around. I think it's a 4:00 or
No, Jets and Giants are both at 1.
Yeah, that's a 1:00. And let me check to make sure I got everyone who's playing what I'm going to be watching because I know I got the Giants game at 1. Hold on.
Yeah, Giants and Jets at 1:00 on Sunday. The Knicks and Nets come on at 6.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So nice little 2-sport doubleheader. I just hope to close out the weekend with a nice little Knicks win. I could kick back on my recliner, watching that, sitting on a chair I kind of refer to as the George Costanza special. The best way to describe this chair because it's pretty much what I described it as. Because
all right, fair enough. And so Knicks Nets on Sunday night. So we have that to get into. And all right, Dan, finally that is going to take us to our picks segment. Last week, Dan, you had a really good. I ended up going 2-1 last week, but you ended up going 3-0. So right now for the season, I am 16-10. You are 14-12. So if you hear our picks, don't discount them right off the bat because if somebody was betting our picks all year, you'd be making some pretty good money right now. So let's see what we got going on right now, Dan.
Yep, exactly. And a disclaimer: those picks are not guaranteed results, but it works good so far. Hold on, you're sounding a little echoey. Can't hear. I can hear you now.
That's because of the music, so it's okay. But all right, Dan, we are getting into this right now, and that music can mean only one thing, and that is our NFL Picks segment. Dan, we are going to kick things off with tonight, the Thursday night game. The Thursday night game is the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos in Denver, and the Broncos are 9.5-point favorites in this one, Dan. Las Vegas isn't giving their own team too much of a chance here tonight. What do you think about this one?
I think the Broncos just win this one 27-7.
Okay, 27-7. So you got the Broncos covering. I agree. I think the Broncos are going to win. But I don't know, man. 9.5 points? That's a lot right there. I feel like as bad as the Raiders have been, I still like Pete Carroll as a head coach. I think the Raiders are due to at least be competitive in this one. So I'm going to go Raiders plus 9.5. So me and you are head-to-head on this one as the Broncos are the favorites. Dan's taking Denver minus 9.5. I'm taking Vegas plus 9.5. All right, let's keep it rolling along now, Dan. We will do the New York Giants. And the New York Giants are the New York Giants are 2-6, taking on the Chicago Bears 5-3 at Soldier Field. Dan, what do you think about this one?
I just have a scary feeling this is going to be another disaster for my Giants. That's going to be like 27-6 probably.
Okay. So you're saying 27-6. So you have the Bears covering that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking the Bears blowing the Giants out at Soldier Field. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like that, although, stuff like that can happen, especially I get it. But I am going to say that, yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think the the Bears are going to cover. So we are both going with the Chicago Bears for that pick. All right, finally, it's the Jets and the Browns. Browns are 2-6, coming in to play the Jets at MetLife 1-7. And I put the point spread on the wrong side. The Jets are not a 1.5 favorites. Believe it or not, probably the only time you'll see them as favorites all year is the Cleveland Browns at MetLife as a road favorite. That's right, the Browns are minus a 1.5 favorites this one. Dan, what do you got on this one?
I just have a feeling this one's going to be 17-3 Browns.
Okay, so you're picking an ugly one for the Jets, and I don't blame you on that. But I'm going to say I actually think, I don't expect the Jets to win at all, because how can you? I do feel like it's going to be a competitive, close game. So with that in mind, I'm going to take the Jets plus 1.5. For only the second time this year, I'll be taking the New York Jets through 9 of their games. So with that, Dan, that's going to do our picks for Thursday night. You got Broncos. I got the Raiders. For the Giants, we're both going with Chicago. And for the Jets, we're going head-to-head. You got the Browns minus 1.5. I got the Jets plus 1.5. And that is going to do it for our picks segment. Thank you, everybody, once again, for hanging out with us here on this Thursday night. And Dan, before we get into anything else and wrap the show up, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Sure, Mike. Follow me on X, Bobo103, Bobo103 NYC on X. Also Instagram, Bobo718DK, same username on Twitch, YouTube, one word, Daniel Curlin. Anytime I upload something on YouTube, whenever I upload something on YouTube, remember, subscribe to our Patreon, and you get one of the Patreon perks is 1 week early access to my stuff when I upload new stuff on YouTube. So you definitely got to be on the lookout for that. You got to definitely check that out. Also, don't forget. And you even get access to the season's already over, but you do when NASCAR season starts up again next year. You get access to Truck Side Minute, all that, and our Patreon exclusive show where our football wrap up shows every Sunday, all for $5. And that will always be $5, no matter what you are.
Exactly.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Whatever you are, we don't jack up the price. It's $5. Everybody equally pays $5. No one pays higher or less than.
As we used to say during the Biden years, it's inflation proof.
Yeah, exactly. It's inflation proof.
So that's right, Dan. So make sure I want to thank everybody who already joined our Patreon. Check it out, patreon.com/Best Seat in the House podcast. We got a lot of extra stuff on there, some fun Halloween stuff from the old days. So want to thank everybody who already joined and anybody who's thinking about it. So that's going to do it here for us on this edition of Best Seat in the House podcast. For my co-host, the great Daniel Bobo Curlin, I'm Rob Kramer. We will be back with you on that Patreon on Sunday afternoon, right before the Knicks and the Nets tip-off at the Garden. Late in the afternoon, so we'll be with you on that. And as always, we'll be right back here next Thursday for our regular show. So for Daniel Bobo Curlin, I'm Rob Kramer. This is the Best Seat in the House podcast, everybody, and we will catch you next week. Have a good weekend, everyone.